I'm not the first guy to ever talk about this stuff, and you won't find a link below because I'm not selling it. But I did just finish using this on my truck, and I learned a few things, and I thought I would share it with anyone who maybe is interested. So a couple things up front. The reason I bought this is because of the YouTube channel called Project Farm. There's a guy there named Todd who reviews products, and I like his approach. I like his lack of bias, and he seems like a man of integrity. So my sister used this about a year ago and had good results. I bought it for about $100 on Amazon. It was 1 gallon. It comes with a paintbrush and a roller and 2 roller covers. All of those actually seem to be pretty decent. I mean, they're one-time use, so it's not like they're, the kind of tools that you hand down to your children, but they weren't so cheap that they were unusable, which is often the case with one-time one-time tools. So now cut to the bed. They recommend handing and using often is one of these, drill actuated agitators. I've owned this one for almost 15 years and use it all the time. Although now it has a new coating of black that I don't think I'll get off because this stuff is fairly gnarly stuff. Acetone will clean it, but gasoline will clean it as well. So gasoline's like $3 a gallon, acetone's like $20 a gallon. So consider using gasoline if you want. The other thing you're going to want is to scuff up the surface. And to do that, they give you a larger strip of the green version of this. So you got to do it by hand. But what I found works really well is one of these. This is basically the same material. What's nice, though, is it's very squishy. And so it takes to the different shapes inside the bed of a truck. They say you can use sandpaper and orbital sander, but there's just not that many flat surfaces in the truck. And so you won't get very far with that. Buy one of these beforehand. I got this for like $5 at a hardware store one day and I've used it a few times since. Anyway, the point is this will make scuffing the bed before you start painting much, much easier. It's a big help and it'll save your arms. All right, so this is after 2 coats, which is what they recommend. I'm going to do a 3rd coat. So this is a 2002 Tacoma, and basically each coat took about 25 to 35% of the paint can. So I can get 1 more coat on for sure, maybe even 2, but I think I'll stop at 3. A few things I learned. Of course, taping off is a really good idea, but not just taping off to the edge, but really doing multiple layers so that when you roll, you can roll on evenly without tilting the roller. So I think I have like 5 strips of painter's tape here. You want to get into the corners real well with the brush, but you really want to do the vast majority. I mean, I did 98% of this with the roller, which is what helps give you the texture that you're looking for. As with so many other paint jobs, the painting is actually a very small portion of the work. What really matters is the preparation. So after scuffing everything and cleaning it with a pressure washer, I then wiped down the bed of the truck with acetone and rags, and I did that 5 times in a row. Every time I wiped with acetone, I continued to find dirt and discoloration in the rag. And again, my experience has been that painting is all about the preparation. So I took the preparation really, really seriously. Yeah, I did get a few specks and flakes over here, but they clean up really well with acetone or gasoline, so that's really no problem. Obviously, I really can't say much in terms of long-term durability, but I will say for $100, the durability of the first coat looked really good. I'm going to cut here in a few minutes to what the 3rd coat looks like, although I don't suspect it will look that different than that. But yeah, the application was good. The instructions seemed thorough. I'd recommend just following them. Don't try and take any shortcuts. And again, on a 2002 standard size Tacoma, basically did you 2 coats, took me just below the halfway point. Well, join me for a laugh. It was a completely sunny forecasted day, and I was letting the 2nd coat dry. I was working on something else, and I looked up at the sky and just thought, that doesn't look right. Checked the forecast, and they said 20 minutes of rain. So I ran out, I put a tarp over the truck, and the rain came super hard for about 10 minutes. And I got just a little bit of water in here. And then I took the cover off and brought it up here. And then now it's just sprinkling. There's a nice rainbow. But yeah, the funny part, really funny part, is I had it parked out there facing the sun. and with the rain came some wind, and so it actually blew debris into it. And this is like the part you see most when you're dropping the tailgate and stuff like that. So that's a major bummer, but I just laugh about it. You do your best, but if you don't have a garage that you can pull a car into, then you don't have much of a choice. But that's all right. I'll do a third coat, and at the end of the day, it's a 22-year-old truck. It's got dents and dings, and this is the bed after all. It's meant to be used, so live and learn, and beat your stuff up. That's what it's there for. Well, the truck is done. I ended up doing 3 coats and then reinstalling the hardware, and then I did a coat over these because they were rusty and kind of ugly. So I am happy with it. It's very gritty. You'll no longer slip or anything like that. I think 2 coats is fine, but I had the paint to do 3 and I didn't have any obvious uses for what was left over, so I just did 3. I did have one problem, and it's what gave me these little chips. Basically what happened was, as the second coat was drying, some unexpected and unforecasted rain broke out in my area, and basically got everything a little bit damp. I covered it with a tarp, but it still got damp, and I basically then couldn't put the third coat on until the next day. And in the instructions, they tell you to pull the tape off while your final coat, which they call the second coat, is drying. And I wasn't able to do that. Basically, my second coat completely dried overnight, and then I did the third coat the next day and then pulled up the paint. So you can see in some cases I got a really super crisp line, but then I got little bits. So obviously pulling it into a garage would be the best choice. I can do that, but it's kind of tricky in my garage, and I hadn't thought to prepare because there wasn't rain on the forecast. But I just used blue painter's tape, and I think the result is pretty good, at least for me. I mean, this is a 22-year-old vehicle. I don't care that much. But if you really want perfectly crisp lines, then the really important thing to do would be make sure that you can pull up the tape as soon as you're done with your second coat, putting it on before it dries. And yeah, other than that, a lot of the details I thought turned out really well. Again, a good tape job will have a really big effect. And you can touch stuff up afterwards. So if you need to add to anything, it's pretty easy to do that. I have no idea how the durability will be. My sister's truck has had this on it for a year. And as I mentioned, the guy, Project Farm Todd, he seems to really like this one, and I do trust his assessments. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to somebody out there, maybe a couple tips and tricks that you haven't seen elsewhere. If not, if it was useless and not worth your time, give it a thumbs down. Go check out Project Farm. Take care.